It's hard to believe that the original Hyundai Kona has been out for nearly 6 years, but I'm here at the 2023 New York International Auto Show, where the company has just taken the wraps off the full production version of the redesigned model. Let's take a first look. Now, just like the original Kona, this new version is going to offer a plethora of different engine options. So before we talk about the exterior styling changes, let me first go over what the powertrain options are. Now, Hyundai will offer a choice between a gas-powered Kona with 2 different engines or a fully electric model. Hyundai, the company actually has all 3 basically on display here, but let's go ahead and start with the gas powertrain. This is the upgraded engine. It's a 1.6-liter turbocharged gasoline direct injection 4-cylinder, making 190 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque. The big story with this new version is that slightly problematic dual-clutch transmission has been replaced by a conventional 8-speed torque converter automatic. The company says it's their own Hyundai design transmission, and you can take your pick between either front-wheel drive or the company's H-Track all-wheel drive system. The electric version, however, is still going to be front-wheel drive. This model here, they haven't announced final fuel economy figures yet, but if you guys want something that's a little bit less expensive, they also offer a base 2-liter engine that offers up to 147 horsepower. That is paired up with a continuously variable transmission. But let's go ahead and close up the hood of this model because I want to show you guys the styling changes. You can see the N-line version is going to be the sportiest model. Eventually, I see Hyundai returning probably the Kona N, which is the high-performance model, but for now, they only have basically a limited, an N-line, and the full electric model. The styling of this vehicle is very unique, almost slightly Tron-inspired and robotic. I love the full-length LED light bar that kind of goes across the entire front end of the vehicle. And just like the previous generation, the headlight modules are divorced from the actual daytime running light. You can see there's 2 LEDs down here. It looks like you have an incandescent turn signal down here at the front end. And then you can see the N-line has its own unique front fascia because remember, this is supposed to be the more sport-oriented model. You can see you have some gloss black accents along with some flat black accents, some silver painted accents. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I actually think this is a really stunning redesign because while I never really loved the styling of the previous generation, I only liked it on certain trims. As you can see, Hyundai has just really elevated themselves to a much more premium upscale ambiance. Now looking at the side profile, this is where you're going to notice that the Kona is actually a little bit bigger. Actually, I'll take that back. It's a lot bigger. At 172.6 inches long, the N-line version is about almost 7 inches longer than the prior generation. So the old Kona was definitely on the small end. It was more like a small hot hatch. The wheelbase has also been extended by 2.3 inches. It's now a little under 105 inches long, and the vehicle itself is taller and about 1 inch wider. So that's going to give us more interior space. You can see the wheels on this N-line version. These are a 19-inch wheel, actually. They're wrapped in a 235/45 R19 tire. Again, this is kind of something that I've seen on some hot hatches, so it's nice to see the N-line model having a big wheel on it. You can see it's kind of have an interesting directional spoke. The suspension also has been upgraded. You have McPherson struts up front. If you get all-wheel drive, you'll have a multi-link independent rear. However, if you go for a front drive model, you'll still have a torsion beam semi-independent rear suspension, which is kind of the same way they had it before. The side mirrors, you can see black painted N-line badges. And then you're also seeing here, the fenders are also painted, which definitely is nice. Over there is the limited trim. On the limited trim, you can see the fenders are not painted. They're actually just body color, or they're flat black, and you have a different wheel design. That's going to be the model that, you know, people are going to want for a little bit more of an off-road rugged look to it. But let me focus back on the N-line version here because I really like what Hyundai is doing. Now you can see the spoiler on the back here is gloss black. It's definitely a lot larger, which gives it a slightly more sportier edge. I'm really looking forward to seeing if the company is going to do another Kona N. And then you can see the rear of the vehicle has the usual badging. Kona is spelled out pretty boldly. You have the newest logo, Hyundai logo back here, along with twin outlet exhaust. It's a single exhaust with twin pipes over to the right side of the vehicle. And then when you look at the cargo area, that increase in length has also increased the cargo space. Now, I thought it would have a power liftgate. It doesn't. This is my first time seeing the car, but you do have more space, around 25.5 cubic feet of storage space, which is definitely good. You can see lifting this up underneath here, there is a temporary spare tire, which is nice. And if you fold down the back seats, Hyundai says that expands the cargo to just over 62 cubic feet, which is actually going to put it among the tops in the class for the subcompact SUV segment. Now, stepping inside the interior of the fully redesigned Kona, I'm going to show you guys the N-line again, just because I like some of the changes that Hyundai has done for the all new generation. You can see Hyundai has been really killing it with their interiors, especially in terms of technology. Now this is pretty low on the totem pole for their hierarchy, so I wasn't expecting the most luxurious materials, but you can see the dash is surprisingly a hard touch plastic, but it does have a nice smooth texture to it. It's got a nice little storage shelf over here. You can see this is all hard touch plastic. The glove compartment's actually a nice bin style. It's damped but not lined with felt. And then when you look at the rest of the dash, you can see this is basically almost taken off of the Ioniq 5. You have kind of a wall of displays. It's two 12.3-inch displays that curve to make nearly a 25-inch display. There's also a little area here where it's kind of covered in a fabric material. I believe this is kind of magnetized, so you can kind of stick magnets on there. The steering wheel also looks pretty interesting, where you have no Hyundai logo. The company's been taking away the logos, which is interesting. Instead, they're kind of giving us the same little dots along the side, which is interesting. The steering wheel itself also has kind of like this fatter rim, especially toward the bottom here. I'm surprised it's not a flat bottom wheel, but when you look at the rest of the door panels, you can see hard touch plastic. And the door panel itself looks a little bit plain. What is nice, however, a lot of the red accents. You can see the seats. I have a 8-way power driver's seat with some suede Alcantara, the red accented stitching. The passenger seat, as you can see, however, is manual, but there are a couple of nice high-tech features in here. You can see there are heated and ventilated seats along with a heated steering wheel. Your drive mode selector is over here. And then you can see a lot of actual traditional hard buttons, which is nice. There's a wireless phone charging pad here. And then Hyundai did move the gear selector. So you can see very similar to the Ioniq 5, where you basically twist this little knob to go into drive or go into reverse, push that button to go to P. The steering wheel itself also has a manual tilt and telescoping adjustment, which offers a good amount of adjustability. In fact, the whole car in general, I feel like it's a lot more spacious than the previous model. I especially feel the extra width. I like the new styling changes. I also like the sunroof, which is kind of like a wide sunroof. They don't offer a pano roof, but I also love the seats, which are trimmed. It's kind of leather and Alcantara combination. But let's go ahead and hop into the back seat, because I want to show you guys the updated space back here. Now, with that increase in the wheelbase, Hyundai says that they were able to give us more backseat room, which means we have, the company says, just under 35 inches of legroom back here. 35 inches puts it around the middle of the class. Remember, this is a subcompact SUV. Materials here are all hard touch plastic, about what I expected. But it is padded where I would rest my elbow, just like on the front seats. You can see over here in the center console, no rear seat air vents. It looks like there's space for a couple here, but you can see there's two USB-C charging ports. There's one storage pocket, and for somebody my height, 5'7", I've got good headroom space, good foot space. If you're over 6 feet, you might find the headroom a little bit more cramped. You can see, fold this down, there's an armrest and two cup holders, and you can see the seats, you can basically fold them down from right here, and the cargo floor area is slightly raised, but it's nice that they kind of give you that 60-40 split rear seat versatility. So if you guys have your eye on an Ioniq 5, but you want to spend a little bit less money, Hyundai also continues to offer an electric version of the Kona, as you can see painted in this very bright highlighter yellow. Opening up the hood, you can see, because there's no internal combustion engine here, there's just a single electric motor. But however, for 2024, Hyundai now offers two different specs of this electric version. So if you open this up here, you can see there's actually a small frunk, which is kind of similar to what you find in the Ioniq 5 and the Kia EV6. But underneath here, there's one electric motor powering the front wheels. So if you guys want all-wheel drive, Hyundai will happily sell you an Ioniq 5, but there's now two different outputs. So the base battery pack is a 48.6 kilowatt-hour unit, offering up to 197 miles of range. That also has a detuned electric motor offering around 133 horsepower. That's going to be for more economy-minded folks who want to spend a little bit less money, because Hyundai is probably planning to reduce the starting price of the Kona, which the base model of the previous generation was like around 35 grand, so I wouldn't be surprised to find that under 30 grand. This model here, however, has the more powerful electric motor. So you have a 64.8 kilowatt-hour battery pack powering the front wheels, up to 201 horsepower, which is the same output as before. I believe you also still have like around 258 pound-feet of torque. This model should do around 260 miles of range. Now, if you're keeping score, that's basically a 2 mile range increase versus the prior generation. So still not class leading, but still a great figure as well. The charge port door, as you can see, is over right here at the front, just like on the prior generation, and you have basically standard DC fast charging along with the usual 1772 plug. This vehicle, Hyundai says, will be able to go from 10 to 80% in about 43 minutes. So again, not the quickest charging vehicle, but it is going to have a significantly lower price tag. So for those of you who are on a budget, there's definitely a reason to still choose the electric version of the Kona. So just like the previous generation, Hyundai certainly offers a bold, eclectic mixes of different Konas to choose from the gas-powered version to the electric version and to the new styling changes. I think Hyundai did a really great job in giving this car kind of like a lineage to the Ioniq 5, which has had some really successful sales numbers for Hyundai worldwide, and applying it to, of course, their small compact SUV, because as you guys know, everybody wants a crossover. Now, speaking of which, if you guys are looking to get your hands on the fully redesigned second generation Kona, Hyundai says that the gas-powered models will be available in the US starting this summer, while you're gonna have to wait until the fall to get your hands on the electric model. However, if you guys are looking to get one of these vehicles, the company wasn't ready to talk about pricing just yet. However, if you guys look at the current generation Kona, that starts in the low $20,000 range, about $23,000 for the base version, going all the way up to $35,000 if you guys want the electric or the Kona N. So I'm gonna suspect the new version should be costing somewhere around that same price range. However, if you guys do want the electric, that smaller battery pack should bring the price down significantly, which the company needs to do because they offer that lower price version of the Ioniq 5. But overall, I really like what Hyundai has done with the all-new Kona, and I think that it's gonna do well when this vehicle goes on sale sometime later this summer. For Redline Reviews here at the 2023 New York International Auto Show, I'm Sofyan Bey.